It's that time again. Time to make the comics. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome back to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And sometimes we create comics. And those comics sometimes do feature zombies, like this one. This is my comic. It's Young and the Dead. These are the first 3 issues. They're available at my website at serkworks.com. And yeah, so it's a kids versus zombies story. It's kind of like Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead. I used to do this thing called 100 Days of Making Comics. Actually, I did it twice. And in that challenge, what you do is you spend 30 minutes a day, every day, working on your own comic book project. Now, like I said, I did that twice, so I got pretty far along there. And then after that, there was a time where I kind of fell off the wagon, so to speak. And but I did get back on, and now I have been spending 30 minutes a day on my comic, and I have been making some progress. So I wanted to share with you what's been going on for all you people that may be curious on how the comic book's going. I've got a number of pages done since I last left that challenge, and I'm about to start on another one. Actually, I have it all penciled out and everything, but I'm gonna go do the inking, and I thought talk a little bit about comics while I'm doing that, show you some of that process of inking the next page of Young and the Dead. So we're gonna check that out right now. Let's get to it. All right, back with another update on my comic book, Young and the Dead. This is page 11, and it's been a little while since I've updated you guys, but I figured I would take this opportunity to do that. And I know not everyone, I assume if you're watching this, you have some interest in the comic book or what's going on with the process. If you're new, then I kind of gave you in the spiel in the beginning what it's all about and everything. This particular scene, we've got our heroes, our kids, who are, they've got to get to this point. It's basically they're in an arcade. Before they were sort of in this office above the arcade. Now, in order to get to a garage where they're going to try to get a truck so they can make their getaway, they've got to kind of brave their way through this arcade. And of course, it's pretty much infested with zombies. So, but it's really fun for me. And because this comic book takes place in the 80s, I love kind of doing all the research that's involved and looking at like old video games and things. And a lot of the stuff I'll do digitally, like a lot of if I decide to, it depends how detailed I decide to get. If I decide to go in and add the names of the video games, some of them might be actual video games, some of them I might make up myself. But I did do a lot of research on what an old arcade from the 80s would look like, and that's always fun to do. And thank God for Pinterest, because if before, I mean, I guess I could have done this with Google search, but it seems like Pinterest, I've got like a private board there where I collect all my reference material and everything, and I can find some really good stuff if I kind of do some searching and everything. So, and it's cool that it's kind of in one place that I can refer back to. So I've got a lot of that stuff there. But I mean, before, I was doing a comic book before that took place in the 70s, and that one I started before the internet was really, it was around, but there wasn't as much stuff on there. You couldn't find as many references, and back then it was like, I remember actually printing out the references and putting them with all my other references that were in what we used to call a morgue, which is basically like a file cabinet with magazine clippings and things. So I don't know, I guess back then I didn't think of, well, I could just store this stuff on my computer. But if you haven't used Pinterest for reference, I would recommend it. And you can find me on Pinterest. You can check out, I've got quite a I'd say you might dig my profile, or whatever, my account, because I've got tons of other references on there, drawing references and a bunch of other stuff. And the good thing about Pinterest is you can basically, like, I think when I first started Pinterest, I kind of looked at Jake Parker's page, and I saw a lot of the references and things he had, which was pretty cool. So I borrowed some from that, but then as you go, you start branching off, and it's just like a tree. It branches off all these different directions, and now I've kind of cultivated a lot of really cool stuff on there. So if you're ever interested in looking for some cool art references, there's a bunch of stuff there you can check out. I've got ones on cars, and or not just cars, but any kind of vehicles, and everything from because I'm into mad science, I've got mad science boards and a bunch of poses and character design references and all that stuff. But that's like really one of my favorite tools. So it's not just for baby clothes and recipes and things like that. So anyway, so back to this scene. So yeah, this was fun to do. Just basically get this whole feel of this arcade, and I'm sure you guys have seen the trailer for Stranger Things, and if you're watching this, if you're into what I'm doing with my comic, you're probably into Stranger Things. But it's kind of funny that a lot of that there's a lot of stuff that takes place in the arcade, and especially like with Dragon's Lair. I don't know if I'll put a Dragon's Lair reference in this particular comic, because they've kind of already beat me to the punch, and that seems kind of the case, especially when, like me, I've been working on this book for, it's almost, in some ways it's embarrassing, but this is sort of it's like my pet project. So it's something that it's gonna take a while to finish, but I always go back to it, and it's always in the back of my mind, and I always do try to find time to work on it. But I mean, I was working on this before the movie Super 8 came out, so that'll kind of give you a basic idea. So I had this concept when Super 8 came out, and it had a lot of the same themes and things that I was trying to do with my book. I'm like, oh, okay. But since it is just me, my own personal project, and it does take a while, other properties come along, and they kind of, even though I started with these ideas, a lot of the stuff's already written down as far as this scene in the arcade. And I don't, obviously, at the time I'm filming this, the new season of Stranger Things hasn't come out, so I don't know how much of that is actually going to play into the into the story. But I had this in mind for a while, and it's because it takes me so long to get to it, that other things come along, and then it's like, oh man, and you get people that are like, hey man, you're just copying Stranger Things, which I don't really have got a lot of that, but no, I mean, most of this stuff was already in my head way prior to that. But and that's no slant on Stranger Things, because I love it, because it's exactly the kind of thing I love. So I can't wait for that to come out. But in the meantime, I'll just kind of do my own sort of 80s arcade, homage. So anyway, you can kind of see they're getting ready. They've got some of the kids in the story. They don't. I didn't want the kids to use guns, so I've made. And you kind of have to read the book, but guns are kind of useless against these zombies, because in a way they can't really be killed. They can only be immobilized, and then eventually they kind of rejuvenate and come back again. And but you got to kind of read the book it's kind of complicated to explain everything. But the one thing you have to do to stop them is to you basically immobilize them by like a blunt trauma to the head, because the way I've kind of spelled it out is like a bullet would just kind of go through, and basically, in my universe, you can't kill what's already been dead and risen from the dead. So the only way they can stop this thing is to find a cure and hopefully revert everything back to the way it was. So that's kind of what they're trying to do. But anyway, so they've got like hockey sticks and croquet mallets and a wooden hammer and things like that they use. So in this scene, like one of the my character Ox, who you see here, her croquet mallet bust, and this is a weapon that she's had for a couple of issues now, so that's pretty much gone. So who knows what she'll end up picking up next time. But anyway, this is a fun page to do, because I'm getting a little bit more into the action and everything, and this particular issue 4, has a lot of action in it. So anyway, yeah, I'm just wrapping up this page, and I just wanted to give you guys an update, because I know different people are looking for different things on this channel, but there are some people that are still very interested in my comic book work. So this is for you guys. Maybe not for everyone, but if you made it through this far, you must have some interest in it. So I will try to do better as far as updating you guys on the comic book and everything. But yeah, that's where we are so far, and I can't wait to get on to the next page. So thanks, everyone. All right, there we go. Another page done. And, I don't want to waste any more time. I want to get on to the next page. So I'm going to do that, and I will see you guys later. That is all. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here in the Art Lab. There's a lot of other great content on the channel, so click that subscribe button and you won't miss a thing. If you're an aspiring evil genius, visit Serkworks.com for all your mad science supply needs. And if you want to contact me, hit me up in the comments section or follow me on social media. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you then.